How's it, folks? Welcome back. And we're going to do a little bit of a breakdown after what happened on Saturday after the first test between the All Blacks and South Africa. And who better than Tiernan Talks Rugby is joining me. He's from the other side of the world, but he is joining us today on Boots and Ball. Thank you so much. And we'll also be doing a preview of the second test after a massive first test. Tiernan, thanks for joining me. Thanks for your time. We do really appreciate it. So thanks, and thanks for giving your insights.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm looking forward to giving. Obviously, I'm fairly for someone from the Northern Hemisphere. I'm fairly involved in this tour. Obviously, not hugely popular among South African or All Blacks fans. So I do love to give my opinions, even though stuff like that. But yeah, like it was an exciting game, exciting weekend of rugby. I've been looking forward to this tour for ages. Like obviously, they are the two best teams in the world right now, and you do want to see them play a load of games in a row. And wasn't expect what happened at the weekend. I can tell you that much. So yeah, I actually predicted the Box to win for once, and look what happened.
Yeah, I mean that is quite interesting coming from you as an Irish supporter. But yeah, I think heading into that game, well, I actually said it beforehand that the South African fans are a bit cocky in terms of the 4-0 series win. Like I said, New Zealand are too good not to win at least one game. And I also thought that they might have snuck in the first one because they've been playing two games together with sort of the A side against the other provincial URC sides in South Africa. And I also thought that we haven't played together. I mean, we changed up the team for the Nations Championship, so we didn't really have our top players all playing together. Um, so that I think was a big reason and why the Box lost on the weekend.
Yeah, I do agree. I think I was watching your Nation Championship and the way you're rotating everything, and I'm just thinking here, these guys they're getting too arrogant, they're getting too confident. Like winning too much can be bad. Like I know that as an Irish fan, we won so many games in a row to the point where in a Rugby World Cup quarter final against the All Blacks, we got complacent. So it's bad. Like winning that many games in a row, you need to take the odd loss. But yeah, it's a bad timing to go into this Great Rivalry tour having not gelled your team. The All Blacks, and look, the All Blacks would have taken a lot from Rassie and all the fans saying that they're going to win this 4-0 because they're the All Blacks. They're the best team in rugby history. Of course, they're going to at least win a game. And but at the moment, I wouldn't be surprised if they went and won the tour.
Yeah, I think if we go back to Saturday's game, I think the whole build up to the greatest rivalry, like you said, has been amazing. I think the whole build up, and obviously at Ellis Park, which is really tough to go and win, especially playing at altitude. Um, but yeah, we can break down that first 40 minutes. I think I said before when it was hands on head stuff, that first 20 minutes, tempo was played. It was almost like a boxing match. People just, the two teams was going at each other. And then when the first big hits started coming in, you could see the tempo started building. But from a South African point of view, I think South Africa were dominant. I think in that first half, I think from minute 20 to 40, we left about three tries out there. And I think that was a win for New Zealand, being under so much pressure and only being 1 point behind at the halftime break. I think was a major win for them. They rode the wave massively in that first half.
Yeah, definitely. And look, I think you look at the stats of the game as well, like the amount of turnovers you guys gave away and all sorts. I just think it was less the All Blacks being brilliant, and it was more South Africa just nothing. It didn't go right for them, and a lot of it happens to a lot of teams, like where the game just nothing really goes your way at the last whatever in the space of 20 minutes, and 20 minutes of bad play is all it takes you to lose a rugby game. I know that all too well watching the Leinster versus Bordeaux Champions Cup final. Like sometimes it doesn't click, and unfortunately, they happen in big games. And yeah, New Zealand, like as a South African, like what's your opinion after this now? Like has because Rassie's seems to have just lost his mind this week, picking 16 players in a 15-man starting lineup. Um, like do you think they know how to kind of fix this, or has it all just kind of collapsed right in front of them? They didn't expect to lose his first game, and now they don't know what to do.
Tiernan, that's a very good question. I think and when I spoke to Casual Bias, and I said, from now on, it's literally luck. a quarterfinal, semi-final, final, right? So I think that's now the mentality. So yeah, I think 16 in the 16 players in the 15-man lineup. I think it's just because of injury concern for Sia. I don't think I mean, they're not too sure if Sia will be playing with his hamstring, so that's why they went with him or Paul de Villiers. But I do think it is going to be like a must-win all three games, like a World Cup quarterfinal, semi-final, and final. I think we know how to lose one and come back. If we look at last year in Eden Park, we were far off, and then the next weekend we put up a record-breaking 44 points to 10. So I'm not too concerned. The only thing I'm concerned about is the weather might be different in Cape Town. I stay in Cape Town, so you're coming from Joburg, which is dry and fast rugby, and the weather can change, and it doesn't really it suits both of us. New Zealand play in the rain and the wet majority of the year. So yeah, just going back to your question, I think it is a must win all three, with the last one also being in America.
Yeah, and like Ellis Park would have been the easiest game for the Springboks to win. It's the one they should have won, and now suddenly you've got to go to Cape Town, which would again suit the All Blacks better. Go to America, which is neutral. Like I don't know. I just personally I think it's not set up very well for South Africa to win it after this point.
I think, Tiernan, if Saturday comes around and we put in a decent performance, right? If we go and we win Saturday, I think it will put a lot of you almost have the wave of the nation sort of off your back a bit before we go into Soweto, because we're going Cape Town, then we're going back up into Joburg. So Soweto is a bit further up in Joburg. But I do think, I think New Zealand have showed their class. And I mean, you can never write the All Blacks off. With Dave Rennie, he's got a plan and worked to perfection in the opening test. But from you as an outsider, how did you? We can go. Let's do the second 40 minutes now. How did you find the whole game, or that second half of the game? I think we can say that the massive turning point was when South Africa got the two penalties and the third one went against them. 2 minutes later, Luke Jacobson scores in the right hand corner. But how did you assess that last 40?
I just couldn't believe how many points they leaked. Like it's a team that's like they pride themselves on how good their defense are and how good they are under pressure. But when and then suddenly like the All Blacks start running full force against you, and it's like they don't know what to do. And that's what happens. Like when you're playing them, if you're not careful, you start leaking points, and suddenly 20 can turn to 30 really quick. Yeah, I think it was just a complete collapse of your defensive structure. And like those kind of collapses don't happen often to the best teams either. So I don't think we'll see another 40 minutes like that. But it happened at the worst possible time in the series, in the game. And yeah. Like and in fairness, and to give some credit to New Zealand as well. Like they
Yeah,
have quality in that backline. They've got Will Jordan out there, the likes of Geordie Barrett, Ruben Love, who I have said in the past I don't rate. I'm slowly starting to rate him now. Like they have quality. They're a world class team, so it's gonna
yeah.
happen. So I think they have to get their flowers for this game as well, because like they were just incredible, and they didn't look. It didn't look like any team in rugby history was going to beat them there in that second half.
Yeah, I think Cam Roygaard was outstanding on Saturday. I thought Ruben Love, he didn't do anything amazing, but he did what he needed to do. Geordie Barrett on defense, I thought was magnificent. One of the game changers of the game was Quinto Pies 50-22 on the 68th minute, kicks a grab about 50 meters. We're back in our corner, and then they get the ball. I thought Will Jordan is doing what Will Jordan does, but then I thought Ardie Savea, crucial turnovers at crucial times, also won them the game. But yeah, it's I think it was the game. Nothing went South Africa's way in terms of knock-ons. It was almost sort of how Ireland played against New Zealand in the Nations Championship, just couldn't really hang on to the ball. They had phases, and clinically, I mean, in that first half, I did speak about Jasper Wiese. We had Malcolm who knocked the ball over the line, 3 opportunities there. And then when we got into the 22 of New Zealand, we had so much dominance, especially with the scrum, but we just couldn't put anything away. We couldn't get any points on the board. And then it becomes frustrating. And then you can see South Africa in the second half one just forced plays. And then the mistakes came. So, yeah.
And like from you now, what do they need to do to like have any hope of win this? Because it looks like at the moment it's going to be whitewash for the All Blacks. Like,
No,
would you
Tiernan,
think
I think
turn it around or no?
Yeah, I think they will. I think they will turn it around. They have to, you know. And like I said earlier, Tiernan, that they've been in this position before, where they've lost a pool game, and when it matters, they've pulled it off.
Yeah.
But from an Irish point of view, how good is that Paul de Villiers from South Africa? Like, he is our next Kwagga Smith, in my opinion. I think he's unreal.
Yeah, look, there's a lot of players in that forward pack that I'm not looking forward to watching Ireland playing in November now. Like, they're just big guys. I don't know how they keep like just producing these absolute monsters. Yeah, they're just quality players. Like Peter Steph as well. Players like them. Ox. Actually, Ox is a big thing.
Yeah, in that scrum.
Taking him off and the scrum collapse. So now haven't they
Mm,
moved him to the bench now for the weekend or something?
yeah,
Actually, this is a
looks
good
like
thing. I want to mention this actually. Do you think Rossi is too harsh when they lose a game? Like the likes of dropping Sasha to the bench, dropping Ox to the bench, like I don't get that. Like you need to back your players every game. You can't just get rid of them if they lose. I'll be talking
yeah.
about this in my TikTok later.
I think yeah. We'll talk about it later, but I think yeah, I do agree with you. I think we need to back our players. But I really like Moni Lebok. I like how he, every time he's been involved in the Springboks, we've had our big wins. He makes the backline look good. The only thing that sort of kept him out was his kicking. But take that pressure off. Let Chisholm Colby kick. I mean, he didn't miss a kick on the weekend. He can do anything, Colby. So take that responsibility off of Moni Lebok and let him do what he has to do. I think the big chink in his armor before he left overseas from the Stormers was if he's around his defense, almost like a Sam Prendergast, very good on the attack. But when it came to defense, there was a bit of talks about him. And then he went over now from Japan and he's really worked on his defense. So I really like Moni Lebok. But I also understand where Russ is coming from, that in these 3 games coming up, you need 100 Pollard in the 23, because if there's a kick 50 meters out to win you the game, you need 100 Pollard on the field. So I think, I think I would have had Pollard on the bench. I think I would have had Pollard on the bench and I would have backed Sasha again. And coming back to Sasha, he's a phenomenal player. He does very individual things that no other fluff in world rugby can do. I mean, he's chipping and chasing, his distribution, his defense, his quality for a 10. He's explosive. So, yeah, it is a bit weird that Rassi has, put him on the bench. But maybe Rassi thinks he can make a big impact off the bench. I'm sure they'll move him to 10, Pollard to 12, and leave Damien on fullback, because I'm sure you need both of them on the field, especially at the end of the game.
For sure. Like, yeah, I don't know. I think personally, he just needs to back his players more, particularly the young players. Like being dropped to the bench after a loss like that cannot be good for Sasha's confidence. When you want to back him as your 10 going into the future. Like the whole thing with Andre Pollard, yes, he's clutch, yes, he's reliable, but he's only got a couple more years left. And I'm looking at this like I know it's a big rivalry tour, but it's not the World Cup. Like you want to have confident players that you're backing going into the next World Cup. That player is Sasha. He's going to be one of the best heads in history. But doing stuff like this is not doing anything for his confidence. And I think Rassi's wrong for that. Obviously, I think he's a great coach, but if we're actually looking at criticism I have from him, that is absolutely one of them. The way he heads roll every time they lose, which you're a top level rugby team, you're going to lose a few games. It just happens.
Yeah, and that's And that's right, right? The top 5 teams in the world can beat each other on any given day,
Mm.
right? So if you're going to be 5% off, majority of the time you're going to lose a test match, right? So you can't be on your peak every weekend and week out, and that's what the rugby public also needs to understand. You can't be at your best every week, and it's impossible. You're not going to be 100%, 100%. But I do think you want to give. It is we are a year out from the World Cup, so I do like this. The thing what you're saying is that give your youngsters experience. Let them know what it feels like to play in one of the big test or 4 test matches in rugby history. You know the history behind it and all that. So yeah, I do. I would back my players again, but maybe Rassi has a plan that we don't know.
Maybe, yeah. That's always the thing, isn't it? The Rassi mind games. You can always back them to come back.
And from an outsider, you happy to see Richie playing tonight?
I'm glad he's playing tonight, not in a test match. I think, right, I know he was class in 2023, but he's been in Japan and only playing in the Japanese league for a couple of years now. Like, he's not going to be the same quality player that he was leaving in 23. So I can't wait for the game tonight. Can we see how he plays, because it's a good tester. Like, can you send away a world class player like Richie Mo'unga to Japan, haven't played lower level rugby for 3 years, and can he come back the same way he was? I don't think he will personally, but I think give him a few test minutes and get, like, he'll be back into the Rugby World Cup squad soon enough for New Zealand. I never know. It could be that he could make this already great team even better. But I think the likes of Ruben Lowe at the moment, they've been putting in the hard work in New Zealand. They've been working for the national team. If I'm a New Zealand player, I wouldn't be too happy with Richie Mo'unga taking this huge long sabbatical and just suddenly coming back.
Yeah, but I think he's also there on a more of a mentorship role as well. I think
Yeah.
that's what Bowden is also doing. I think they're more on the mentorship role. I think, and you see your 9 and 10 is from Hurricanes, and your 12 as well as Josh Morby. So you've got a lot of players in that backline who play Super Rugby together.
Mm.
And the form that Ruben Love is on, I don't see why drop him from your test team. There's no reason why. So yeah, I think for the public, I think for South Africa, I think it's nice to see Richie back in the All Blacks. But yeah, I think if we talk about tonight's game, I think the All Blacks will be too strong. But I think if we go on Saturday in Cape Town, it's going to be a proper test match.
Absolutely, yeah. Look, but it's regardless of who wins the week before, how things are going, the games between these two are always brilliant. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. You get your
And then
final score prediction, right? Will we go for that now? Do you think South Africa are going to turn it around?
yeah, I'll say South Africa by 5.
5, yeah. I'm gonna go the All Blacks to win again. Just purely because I think the Springboks camp is going to be in chaos this week. But I'm going to go with the All Blacks by 3, and then it gets maybe swings South Africa's way in the last 2. We'll never know. But I'm going to still go with an All Blacks win here, but just way closer than it was.
Yeah, I think there's going to be more bruised than sore bodies after this week, heading into the third one. But how excited are you? Also looking forward to the Nations Championship at the end of the year. Um, how have you found a bit of the Irish performance up until July?
Up until that New Zealand game, I thought we were playing decent. I didn't think we were great. Like, in the Six Nations, we were really good. Like, we were 1 second away from winning the championship, other than France obviously scoring that last with a penalty. But like, yeah, we weren't that good in the summer. I didn't think and I think in the autumn now, who we've played South Africa, it's a game we can win if we just sort out our set piece. We can beat South Africa, because I think Ireland's obviously they're the Springboks' Achilles heel when it comes to weaker team, like not weaker teams, but obviously like in the last couple of years, Ireland have beaten South Africa more than South Africa have beaten Ireland, and we can definitely win that game. But yeah, look, I think we've been a bit written off as well, so I can't wait to see how that goes because I think Ireland tend to play better when they're written off Eden
Yeah, when
Park,
you're back,
and I
yeah,
don't think we would have lost that badly to the All Blacks had it not been Eden Park. We might have even won the
yeah.
game.
So, Tiernan, I just want to get your thoughts. I know we're moving away from the South Africa, New Zealand. We'll get back into that. But what I've got a thing like Irish rugby is really strong if you look at the URC franchises as well. Um, and when I look at that squad of Ireland, there's a lot of players that I think is almost getting to the end of the career. Maybe one more World Cup. And do you think that also plays a role in, the performances, maybe how they are playing and the depth that has been created or a lack of depth because a lot of their week in and week out are playing so much test match rugby. They're not obviously rotating as much as South Africa. I mean, using 60 players a year, whatever it is. Obviously, when South Africa plays now the best team, they're playing their best side against New Zealand and Ireland and that stuff, which is maybe your older players. Because South Africa's also got a lot of older players, which also have one more World Cup. I mean, more than half of that side has got one more World Cup in them, right? But
Yeah.
do you think from an Irish point of view, is that a little bit concerning heading into a few more years that is coming up? I know there's some great talent within Irish and the youngsters, but giving them a chance maybe a bit earlier now, especially before the World Cup.
See, the thing is, a lot of people don't understand when it comes to Irish rugby and their depth and stuff is that we only have 4 provincial teams, and that is where every single one of our players are.
Yeah,
So it's like to say we don't have depth. Like, see, even in South Africa, right, a load of players are playing overseas. Obviously, they have their 4 main URC sides, but like most of their squad isn't playing in South Africa, whereas all of our players are. So the thing is, it's hard to build the depth when your best players are already like so much of those core provincial sides. But when those players retire, all of a sudden there's this whole other group of players who,
yeah,
while the main guys are away with Ireland, like they're playing provincial games, and then suddenly they're ready to go because it's very high level, the URC and like Irish rugby, and especially like the interprovincial rivalries are huge.
mm,
So we have a lot of high quality players that, yes, I know they could do with a few minutes in the Ireland jersey, but to say we've no depth just isn't true. You're just not seeing our depth because, again, we don't rotate that much. We don't have many opportunities to rotate. Obviously, every Six Nations game is super competitive. Um, and even like, yeah, even all the nation championship, it's just so much competitive games. It's hard to get a chance to rotate players. But the likes
yeah.
of who are we playing now? We're playing Fiji. Like, we'll see a lot of rotation against Fiji.
Okay, cool. No, I have seen like a lot of the youngsters that I obviously have seen in the URC getting a shout in the smaller games or your Fijis and stuff. There's good quality coming through, but obviously, like you said, you don't really see them week in and week out because of the level of the test matches. So it will be nice to maybe see, yeah, like you said, to see the youngsters and I mean and to see what they can bring.
Yeah, it is like I do think that's a criticism I have of Irish rugby. We tend to stick with our main players a lot, whereas like South Africa, obviously their main hitters are all kind of older as well. I'd argue in a worse shape than Ireland are in terms of the age profile of your top stars. But yeah, we don't rotate then when we can. And I think we need to make ourselves more opportunities. Like, play the odd friendly against Portugal or someone and just get these guys, like the likes of players you probably haven't heard, but like Edwin Adogbo, Cormac
Yeah, I
Stewart, who's
know.
come through recently. Like these guys just
Mm,
tend to appear. They don't grow
mm.
in the Ireland jersey the way a Springbok player might grow in Springboks jersey. They grow in their club side, in their club jersey.
Yeah, like I must say, I've enjoyed like Rob Balakoon. Stuart McCloskey is also he's like 32, but I've loved how he's progressed. He's aged like a fine wine. Um, and those players as well, Kalen Doris, Dan Sheehan, they're your main hitters, right? So yeah, you can't really leave them out of your team. I mean, they're your core players in the Irish team. So yeah,
It is, yeah, I know, but it's like we're fine for depth. I think, right?
Yeah,
I'm looking at the players we have coming through. We'll be fine. It's just kind of a thing. Just you need to block out the outside noise when it comes to that kind of things because most of the people hating on Ireland's depth and criticizing it haven't a clue what actually goes on in the country rugby wise when internationals aren't happening.
yeah. And then I want to do like a combined 15 for this weekend's match, the second test. Um, yeah, I think, or we can do a combined 23, whatever you want to do. I think 23 is fine, or do you want to do combined 15?
We're gonna go from this with the game that just happened this weekend.
Um, we can do out of that, or we can do your as like your best, like if they're on top form, you're choosing. So, or you can do on the base performances.
Okay. So we'll have a look at the teams from last weekend just there, and we'll do a little combined Springboks All Blacks 15.
Okay. So for the are we happy to say Oxenshire had won?
Yeah, he was. I'd argue one of the only top performers for the Springboks. Yeah,
And then hookers Cody Taylor versus Malcolm Marks.
and Cody Taylor.
Okay, we're gonna go with Cody Taylor. So we're going based off last week's performance.
Yeah,
Right. Okay, cool. And then 3 was Walker Low. I would say Walker.
yeah.
In the scrum, he was good in the scrum.
Mm.
And now we go to the locks. I thought Fabian Holland had to be there. It's whether we're playing 4 or 5. Are you going to put Sam Derry in there as well? Or are you going to put Eben at 4?
Yeah, I probably. It's a tough one because like I expect such a presence on the pitch, even though he's no mind be having a good performance. Like I would want Evan in my team, so I'll take
Yeah.
Evan.
Okay, so we go Eben 4, we go Fabian Holland at 5.
Yeah,
And then
we'll take Podavillia.
Yeah, Paul de Villiers at 6. I thought he was outstanding for the box. I'm going to go 7.
But you have to swap it for your so that because you guys swap it, so you have to take the opposite one now to go for.
I would put. I think Jasper has to be at 8.
Yeah,
I think he was immense, and then I would put Ardy at 7. I thought Ardy played better than Peter Steph on the day.
Yeah.
So 6 Paul de Villiers, 7 Ardy Surveyor, 8 Jasper Visa.
We've got to take Cam Roygaard and Ruben Love, I guess, don't we? Just controlling that back. I think we're getting into the back line now. This is where things aren't going to look too good.
Yeah, I think we have mentioned them earlier on the show that how great they were. So I don't think you can leave them out. I mean, as a combination, 9 and 10, I think we go. Yeah, let's go Cam Roygaard and then Ruben Love. Wings is a tough one. Kirkley Orense was injured in the first opening, but I think we go Colby and Will Jordan. I thought Colby wasn't bad on the weekend.
Colby's
I think
decent.
Colby
He brings a goal kicking and stuff, but Josh Morby was good though. Like, you know what? I'm going to take the entire New Zealand backline. You just have to do it. Like,
even Damien McKenzie over Damien Willemse.
Yeah, look, that's the only toss up I think really in this whole thing is Willems and McKenzie. But like,
okay, yeah, because we are going.
I just don't think you can look at that performance from New Zealand and go South Africa the better backline because it was like men against boys, especially at the end. But
okay, so I agree with you in terms of based off the last weekend's performance, which was All Blacks did do really well. I think the only switch I would make is playing Damien Willemse above Damien McKenzie at fullback. I thought Willemse was outstanding in the air and controlling the backfield.
Yeah. Got that, but yes, that's my combined 15.
So we got 1, we got Oxenshire, 2, we've got Cody Taylor, 3, Walker Low, 4 Jebben, 5 Fabian Holland, 6 Paul de Villiers. We're going to go 7. We're going to go with Adi Savea, Jasper Visa at 8. 9 and 10 will be Cam Roygaard and Ruben Love. 11, Josh Morby, Will Jordan on the wing. Inside will be Geordie Barrett pairing up with Quinto Paya, and then we have Damien Williams at fullback.
Yeah. I think that's a fair.
I think it's a fair reflection. Yeah, I thought, if we look at in a whole, those 4 players from South Africa stood out. And I think those are the only ones that we can say, based off last weekend, they get into the starting 15. And then, do you want to do 20, like the bench, or are you happy with 15?
I don't really combine the bench because kind of players do different. I think if you're doing combined 15, do the starting, because obviously,
Yeah.
shouldn't go too.
And then before the game, who there's talks about Geordie Barrett and Damien Delende in World Rugby now about the best centre in the world. What's your opinion?
Going into this, actually, I was on North South there with the casual, and I actually picked Damien Delende in my World 15, and I have to say he kind of got schooled there at the weekend by Geordie Barrett. Obviously, I know all about Geordie Barrett being a brilliant player. Obviously, probably Leinster's best player there a couple of years ago. So yeah, I rate him a lot, and I honestly thought Damien Delende is underrated, but Geordie Barrett's so good at the moment. So I think I'm going to say Geordie Barrett's overtaking Delende for the best 12 in the world.
Yeah, that was the other thing that I love Damien Delende. I think he, as you so rightly said, he's been under the radar for years, and he never really has a bad game. He never goes backwards. He always goes forwards. He's really worked on his handling, but Geordie Barrett's kicking game is also phenomenal. I think his work under the high ball, his kicking game is class as well. So yeah, I think having both, you can't really have both of them because they both play the same position. But yeah, I think him and Quinto Paya sort of found a partnership going.
Definitely.
I think also that was a big talking point as well, was having the 2 10s up against each other, right? It's Sasha and Ruben Love.
Yeah, who would you say had the better performance out of that? So I think Ruben Love was
I think Ruben Love was class. But I do think Sasha did some really good things on the weekend, even though we didn't win the game, but I thought he still really had a very, very good performance.
And that's why I'll just be backed a bit more. Guys, the guy is quality. Give him let him have a few losses. Every player needs to experience a few losses like that.
Yeah, I think Sasha was in any overseas country. Maybe not with France or Jalibert, how he's playing at the moment, but he's definitely within the 23 of any international team in the world. Yeah. And how's your podcast and stuff going? How's all of that stuff going? Good.
It's going good, yeah. I mean, we're yet to record for this weekend's game, but I'm sure Casual can't wait to see me come and do the thing. And yeah, it's going pretty well.
And in a bit of your journey as content creation, how did it start?
Actually, yeah, it's been 3 years this month now. I just before the World Cup started there. Obviously, there was rugby TikTok was kind of just started building, and I saw an opportunity. There's no Irish crowd doing it. Obviously, now there is. The Andy with Rugby Noz, he started doing it at a similar enough time. So I'm second biggest here by a very big margin. So obviously he's lapped me by 100k. But yeah, no, it's nice. It's good. It's good, just fun, making a bit of videos. I like that rugby is kind of going into the fans' hands a bit more now in terms of the media and stuff, because it's something we didn't have for a long time, and I'm really glad it's. And you have all sorts, you have my type where it's just the fans annoying each other. You have proper analyst pages all run by fans, so it's good to see.
Yeah, I must say it's really nice to have you on, because I've obviously seen you on TikTok and getting all of those followers and all of that stuff, and it just was growing and growing. So yeah, it's really good to have you on as well. And then what's your future plans with it? Do you wanna take it further?
Don't know. I'm doing product design in college, which obviously is nothing related to the sports at all. So I'll just see where it takes me. That's kind of the thing. I've always called it a hobby, doing this
Yeah,
content creation. And
yeah,
yeah, so it's yeah. I've no idea, to be honest. I'm this season I want to build up a bit more of that. I want to get more fans' opinions and stuff, check my content. I'm gonna make a little survey now for my followers, just to see what they want. I think that's really good. What about yourself? Are you doing much TikTok and stuff? You're gonna be taking that up?
yeah. So I'm trying to build on all platforms. So I started Instagram, which is really taken off as well. I think we're doing well. Yeah, obviously, I just say, listen, I like to talk a lot, and with the commentary as well, I think it's good. So I commentate rugby, cricket, and hockey here in South Africa. So yeah, it's commentary is going well for Supersport schools and all of that. I was doing the Postmates interview with Paul Roscraig College, which was big for me as well. So just taking steps in the right direction. And then I just started a podcast at the beginning of the year. So it's growing massively, and also like to have you guys on to give your insights. I mean, you and Casual are big in TikTok and YouTube as well. So yeah, it's nice to have you guys on and sharing your thing. Also, I also say it's a hobby. Studying as well, business and logistics. So yeah, I maybe want to go overseas a bit next year. I've got friends who live in Dublin, so yeah, maybe come and see, but I can only be there for 3 months. But yeah, I would want to try and shoot some content there as well.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's massive.
maybe.
Like it's a massive way to grow, and I think the sport, like, it's just good to see where the sport's going with this kind of thing.
Yeah, I must say I'm enjoying the commentary as well. The commentary space like that is really nice as a full time job. It's quite nice. I know what's like there's a big broadcasting thing in Ireland Premier Sports, for URC and
Yeah,
all of that.
yeah. It's primary sports do a lot of schools rugby. It's not here. It's not as big as it is in South Africa. Obviously, you've got the Leinster School Senior Cup, which is really big, and especially if you're in those schools, it's a huge thing. But outside of that, no one really cares about it. If you know what I mean. It's like it's the people that went to the school and the people that used to go to the school. Like I went there last year because I finished up in school there last year. So I decided, right, I'm gonna go to the Senior Cup games and make a bit of content. But I didn't really do it last season because it just doesn't. It's not as involved in the whole rugby thing. Like our big thing is go to watch your province or your local club, for example, like my local team. I go watch them a good bit, but the schools thing, yeah, it's just not really huge.
Yeah, so yeah, I know URC and all of that stuff is big in within Irish rugby, right? That's like that's like the most watched. Um,
Yeah, definitely. And then your AI All Ireland League, which is like our clubs. So there'd be the local community teams, and like they're really good to go watch as well.
okay, cool. So before we sort of wrap it up, um, quick quick thoughts on the weekend's game. Just a quick summary of what you think will happen. Yeah, and your quick insight before the second test starts, and then we're probably obviously going to do a after match of that one as well. But yeah, your quick thoughts before we go on the second test.
Yeah, I think if South Africa want to win, they need to be a bit less just confident in themselves. Do you know what I mean? You need to go into a game against the All Blacks and expect to lose and find a way to win rather than go in expecting you're going to win and then they found a way to lose. So there you go. I think that's the best way to put it. You need to go into a test match against the All Blacks, especially now after losing to them, thinking that you're going to lose and improve on your stuff. And I think it'll be a big humbling experience to them this week, and I think it'll only make them better going forward.
Yeah, I think South Africa will turn it around. I think it's going to be very tough to do it, but I think they will find a way. They've been in this position before, so yeah, I think they will find a way. And yeah, folks, that sort of brings us to the end of it. Remember to like, subscribe, and follow Tiernan Talks Rugby on all these platforms as well. And yeah, thanks for your time and your effort. We do really appreciate it, and hopping on and getting your insight all the way from Ireland. We do take it into consideration. So yeah.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Same as you. Go follow the ball there. Been a good podcast, and yeah, come and see. Come and see. First of all, the reaction to the weekend. Now, what's going to happen? Just going forward into the new season. Like it's a World Cup year now. Lots going to happen.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. I'm looking forward to the World Cup. I think it's going to be one of the most competitive ones since 2023. I think it's going to be really, really good as well. All the way in Australia. Are you going to go watch it?
Well, if I'm able to, if I have the money, I'll definitely
Oh,
go
good
over.
man.
But like obviously,
Good
yeah,
man. So yeah,
expensive.
thanks, folks. Thanks for joining in on this episode. We broke down the aftermatch of the test and a bit of a preview for test two. With Tiernan thinks the All Blacks are going to win by 2, and I say South Africa win by 5, and we'll see you later. Cheers.